I'm going to go ahead and record this. So once again, we are going to get started in our first session. Now, what questions do you have about this? Shoot me any questions you might have before we get started with the material. And we're going to dive in pretty fast. Questions? Nobody? Okay.
Oh, sorry.
So, go ahead, Lena.
Can I ask a question? How do agents get started? Like, meaning, how do you actually get the leads, and start, like,
Sure.
with clients?
Okay, so we're gonna dive into that because that's part and then I think session 3, session 4, we really start to uncover the different ways of lead generation. But I will tell you, the short answer is you all have to get extremely comfortable just talking and communicating. I'm not saying about real estate, talking and communicating with people that you know.
Okay.
And I know it might sound simple, Lena, but the truth is, and I said this on my morning call this morning, people are buying and selling because of life experiences, life happenings, and emotional situations. When I call you up, Lena, and you are my friend from college, and let's say we talk regularly, but if I call you up and I'm saying, hey, do you have a house to sell? Do you need to buy something? Are you looking for an investment property? I can't ask you that. I mean, I could. I can't ask you that every single quarter I call you. It's going to get old. You're going to be like, Mary Beth, all you call me about is, what about these listings?
Yeah.
Right? So what happens is Lena tells me, as my friends, that the girls are getting so big that they need their own bedrooms. Like they're teenagers now. They need their own bedrooms because they're twins. And I start talking to her about that. And I realize, oh my gosh, Lena, how long are you going to do that for? Because you probably need to get into a bigger house, no? All right, well, whenever you have time, let me come over. Now that becomes a real sphere of influence, referrals. We're working our sphere of influence. What I would just say to you is the first and foremost, and I know Ashley teaches on this often, you need to get to that 200 plus in your database. You need 200 plus people in your database. Now, throughout this session, and we're together till November, I will take one-on-one sessions with you guys as you might need it. We need to break certain things down. We're going to have a business planning clinic that I'm going to personally host. We'll do one virtual for those that can't make a daytime one. But in that, we will also be breaking down the different levers that are going to be specific for you. Because, Lena, your business is not going to look like Audrey's, is not going to look like Nicole's.
Right.
Right? They're going to be using, and the other part about lead generation is time management. It's time management is where, because we all have the same 24 hours in the day. So when I see agents that are doing it at a high level, and the reason why I start with who I am and where I've been to every market in the tri-state area, guys. And if I haven't built the market center, I've taught in the market center. And I will tell you that the most successful agents treat it like a job, wake up every day early, an extra half hour early. They spend their time. We're going to get to that because on page 308 in the red book, there's a whole energy plan, but they spend their time correct in the morning so that it will fuel them for the day. But the day does not start at 10 o'clock, my friends. Now, for some of you who have a different schedule, that you got to put the kids on the bus, and by the time you get to it starts at 10 and you got 10 to 2. All right, well, let's use 10 to 2 wisely. But listen, if you're just, and even if you tell me you got to put the kids on the bus, okay, what happens between 7 and 8? Well, I get the whole time you're not getting the breakfasts and the whatnots. We can make excuses or we could have results. You could have reasons or results, but you cannot have both. Okay, so I do this kindly with candor, and I love you guys, but I also will be honest with you when I feel like, you know what, let's be honest with ourselves. You said you want this, Sarah, but you're doing this. I don't think this is going to get you this. What do you think? Not really. Okay, how do we change that? So here's what happens, guys. You either have to change your goal or you have to change your habits. And a lot of you are going to tell me, well, we can't change the goal because we have to make that in order to stay in the business. We have to make that in order to build the business. So just like you'd be talking to a seller. If we can't change the location, we got the price and the condition we can work with. Which one would you like? Well, you could do something about the condition so we could up the price. And it's the same thing with you guys. We could do something about our activities, our mindset, what we do every day to affect what our end goal is, our end result is. But we can't just complain about it and not be willing to put the work in. Okay. All right. So just pop it in the chat if you don't want to. Okay. But pop it in the chat. What do you want to make next year? What do you want to make in 2024? How much money will your 1099 read at the end of 2024? How much money will it read? And I want you to think big. 150, great. Over 100,000 expected. You're in New Jersey. Your average check is $10,000. 150, 100, 200,000. Fantastic. Joe, you're working both sides. You got the bridges. Let's go. I sell them in Staten Island. I sell their house in Staten Island. I sell them right in Old Bridge. Right? Old Bridge, Manalapan, not yet. Maybe they go to Howell because they can't afford the Manalapan right now. I got you. So we are all talking about 200,000, 100,000. I did see a 10,000 in there. No judgment. If you tell Bridget James, hey girl.
Where's the chat? Because I don't see
it. On the bottom, Mike, you might, if you're on your phone, it's going to be on the bottom. If you touch it, you could see chat, the word chat. You click there. You'll
okay,
be
gotcha.
Okay, awesome. We're all learning. And guys, if you are not Zoom proficient, this is a great way to do a buyer consultation because a lot of buyers are working. So when they get home at 7 o'clock, you're like, hey, why don't we jump on a Zoom and we do a buyer consultation? I'll show you. And you could do the screen share. You could show them a contract. So I really do want you to learn how to use Zoom also through these 20 weeks, through these 20 classes. All right, great. So let's dive into the material. Now, if you do not, Ashley, if you don't mind, if you could take the PDF for the class and throw it into the chat in case anybody needs to open it right from there. The instructor manual, I got yelled at, guys. I got yelled at. The instructor book is like, I forgot. I thought it was like 158 pages. It's like 300 and I don't know, 55 pages. So every team leader in the world was like, are you kidding me? Did you tell them to print it out at their office? I said, I did. So I have worked a little thing with KW University because I'm also a Keller Williams approved trainer. That's the specialness of this here. There are workbooks already printed, instructor and student manuals for $25, $30 with our donation to KW Cares. So we're going to go ahead and get some cases of that in. So in the meantime, if you need print, just print one session at a time until those books come in. Or work on your, work on it electronically, or go print it out at Staples and pay for it, find it, have it so that you could reuse it over and over again. That's how I operate. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share. We're going to dive into our session 1. Now, those of you who are able to jump on, I do a morning call every morning. And that is at 8, well, not every morning, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that is at 8:30 to 8:50. Try to get our dual careers, if they're driving into work, they can listen to it. And every morning we have something different that we're talking about. So Mondays, we talk about the market. We talk about, and you're able to go back into the Facebook, and I'm going to point you to that, the Facebook family group, and you could watch those sessions if you can't catch them when they're live. But we talk about the market on Mondays. On Wednesdays, I have some tools that we go over, plus I have some interviews that are coming up. And on Fridays, I love to talk about financial and leadership conversations. So I bet you Darren likes that because every day is Friday, right, Darren? Darren has a coaching program that's called Every Day is Friday. And we're going to introduce some of those things as we learn. So I know this is our first session, but let's not be afraid to unmute and go ahead and add to the conversation if you have something to add. Okay. All right. So just going over the calendar, this is typically the calendar when you're doing a full Ignite in the classroom every single day. What you're going to get here is an abbreviated version. So we're just going to go through the training materials. You're going to be asked to do the activities on your own, But when we do it in the classroom during the day and it's like a 3-4 hour thing, we actually ask you to make your phone calls right in the classroom. So before we end tonight, I do want to be clear on what your activity should look like from Monday until Wednesday. So when you come back on Wednesday, you have some things to talk about after you tried some stuff. Okay. So real estate expert, lead generation, lead follow-up, and transaction. That is the way that Ignite is broken up. So we are in the first section of it, which is the real estate expert section. If some of you were not able to navigate and figure out how to get there, you would go to your agent.kw.com. You would get into command. And in command, you'll see next to command in this top left, you'll see connect. So when you click on connect, that is our learning place. All of the curriculum that KW University, which is based out of Austin, Texas, has written is here. So when you guys are looking for stuff, I mean, I would always suggest come here. Sellers, Win with Sellers, working with sellers. You go to Win with Sellers, you're going to have a bunch of course materials and stuff to pick from here. But for the purposes of this, Ignite is here, and we click on the first one with the flame, and that is where you will see your student manual, as well as the instructor manual is also here, as well as all of the PowerPoints that we will use. So you can always go back and self-study, okay? I also want to encourage you that when I was in some of your, I mean, at 26, when I got in the business, I was inspired by instructors that I sat in the classroom with. And I said, man, and you know, like I just mentioned, Nicole's a teacher. So it's like in her veins to teach. There is a path to becoming an instructor with Keller Williams. There is a path to becoming a coach with Keller Williams. There's a path to becoming a leadership role in Keller Williams. If you would like to take a KPA, email me. I will make sure that your office sends you a link, and that KPA will show you where your strengths lie in this industry. And if you'd like to go on the instructor path, email me and I'll help you get there as well. So it was a long one, but it was well worth it. I love impacting people. Okay, so real estate expert, lead generation, the follow-up, and the transaction, contract to close. There's 4 sessions that we'll cover. So for the next 2 weeks, we'll be in the real estate expert. This is where you're going to gain your confidence, embrace what you have to do, get in the right mindset, connect with your market, and define your value. Having a unique value proposition when you are working with clients, it's not that you have to come out and say it all the time, but you do have to exemplify it as you're talking with them, as you're walking with them, and that will make you stand out. As you can see, we have the lead generation, which we go into generate leads, grow your database, capturing leads, capturing social media leads. Lena, all of that is right there, and then capturing more leads. The sweet spot is in section 3, which is your FU section, your follow-up section. If you do not follow up in this business, it's just as good as you should have just stayed home. You shouldn't have done that open house if you are not going to follow up with the people, right? So follow-up is, you might have thought somebody blew you off. They just had to get somewhere. You might have thought, oh, they're going to go to another open house and they're going to connect there. Guess what? That girl's not going to call them. Angelina, if you go and call them, they'll probably work with you. If you follow up and put them on a drip campaign, man, you got even a better chance. If you text them occasionally, hey, did you see this one come out? Now they're like, man, that's my girl. She's like working for me. And all it is I have the auto search working for me. And that's a leverage for me to have a communication and a real conversation with somebody. So the follow-up is going to be huge. And then transaction, I don't think we spend enough time on this, as we talked about in my morning call. We're going to be spending some time in servicing that transaction, and truly winning over a buyer or seller is setting expectations and then meeting them, guys. It's not setting an expectation. We've all been through that, right? Where it sounds really great, and then you get there and you're like, this is not what I signed up for. It sounds really great, and then what was promised to be delivered on, it's not. So we don't want that to happen to you. And it does happen quite easily when you're working with buyers and sellers once you put them into under contract. Right? Once you put them into under contract, you're like, okay, it's good, let's go. No, it's not. So we don't want you to be thinking like that. And then there's also like a post close. So a new way of thinking, KW culture. We're going to ride through this for the next hour. New way of thinking, KW culture, KW values, the market center value, to introduce you to that. The resources, we touched on a few of them already. And then more about you is your career vision, your daily success system, and then recap with the ahas. Okay. Anybody have any ahas, questions? Shout it out. Get bold. Go ahead.
As a dual agent, I think one of the things I had to learn was that when I meet people and they say, what do you do for a living? I have to say real estate before anything. And that was a really hard transition because I've been a teacher for over 22 years. So getting to that point makes a big difference, because then people see you as a real estate agent and you don't even have to mention teacher unless you have a long conversation, that second career.
That's right. So thank you for that. Because perception is reality. So how we put ourselves out there is ultimately going to give somebody a perception of us. And to Nicole's point is, if you start with, well, I teach, and I also am a real estate agent. If you're prospecting for business, I'm a full-time agent, and I've also been a teacher for 40 years. My mom was a teacher for 40 years, right? So, and how that benefits my real estate clients is that I am extremely thorough with process and with just hand-holding through the transaction. Like right there, okay, fine, you answered it. I have weekends, I have nights, I'm out of work at 3 o'clock, and I have my weekends and I have my summers off. So, I can really service. And when I am in school, I have a full-time partner. So, Gina will be giving you a call when I'm not available. And you bring those. So there's also all sorts of ways. Thank you so much, because the mindset is so huge. Anyone can do it. Not everyone will. And Gary Keller says, will you? Will you? Tony DeCello said, challenge them all, and one might do it. So I'm going to challenge you guys, and I want you to be sending me your homework. I want you to be telling me your problems, because you've called so many people that now you don't know how to manage all of the how do you manage your time now? Or you've generated so many leads that you just don't even know how to organize a Saturday. That would be a great problem to have. And there's great people that will help you. So don't worry. Don't scare yourself out of success because you're afraid you're going to get too busy and you're not going to be able to handle it. Or somebody's going to ask you a question and you're not going to know the answer. Don't scare yourself out of success. That is where I see agents fail all the time. When I say fear is the false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. It's what we're telling ourselves that we're scared of, what it's going to be. Stop doing that. Start believing in yourselves. Okay. So if you take a look at the your manual, we are going to be jumping into the 6 personal perspectives. And so we should be, I'm just trying to find your manual. We should be right on page 12. Moving into page 13 right now, 13 right now. Okay, so 6 personal perspectives. The 6 personal perspectives comes from our founder, Gary Keller, and a great class that I love teaching, and I know Ashley loves teaching, is called Quantum Leap. And it's really about where we started with this book, is making a huge quantum leap from where you are now, where you're going. Not just having small growth, but having like wow growth, having 10x growth, having exponential growth. And it's so possible. Can I tell you, the people that I've seen, we just sat at Mega Camp, young guy. How old was that guy, Ashley Montaz? 24?
22 or 23. Like he was he was young.
Right? First full year in the business, 78 transactions, $20 million. He still looked like he was 16. I mean, had a full-time job. I believe it was accounting or something like that. He got a full-time job and realized when he got his feet wet in real estate, He got fired from his full-time job because he was spending some time in real estate while he was at the other job. Did 20 million in his first year. Nobody told him he couldn't. And that comes from the personal perspectives. That comes from having the right mindset. I've also seen agents that come into the business. I had a great agent who just ran rentals. He was doing like 80, 90 rentals a year. And he just thought, I would never become a sales agent. I'm just a rental agent. Now in Hoboken, you can make about $100,000 running 80 rentals a year. Maybe even more now because the rents are so crazy. However, I said, well, who are you renting? What buildings are you? Oh, well, the guy, he owns like 8 buildings and he owns like all these units. Great. Does he want to acquire more? Would he like to sell what he has? The guy didn't even know that he did sales. He thought he only did rentals. So there's a lot when we think about personal perspectives that we can gain in life and in business. And so this is not going to be there's not going to really be any seller and buyer conversations today. It's really about the mindset and positioning you to win. So these are our 6 personal perspectives. Commit to self-mastery, 80-20 principle, E to P, being learning-based, removing those limiting beliefs like I just shared a little bit, and being accountable. Anybody has been through this 6 personal perspectives class? Maybe raise a hand, give a thumbs up. Just trying to see the gauge of the knowledge of this. Probably my most. All right. So commit to self-mastery. First thing you must do is commit to self-mastery. How do you know if you don't know where you're going, somebody else is going to plan the path for you. I mean, I'm a mom, right? But the moms that were like, oh, I don't know, my kids run my life. No, they don't have to run your life. I know that you might feel like that, right? But if it means step back and start thinking. Yeah, you're gonna have to set some time for yourself to think. Know your goals. Do assessments. Like if you haven't done a KPA, like I said, please let me know. I'll send you a link. It's a Keller personality assessment. It will show you your strengths and weaknesses as it pertains to a business owner. It will show you what role you would be best suited for in the real estate business. Know how to work both your strengths and weaknesses to seek and master the necessary knowledge, skills, and habits to reach your goals. What is something that some of us could say you've mastered? What's something that you have mastered in life? Like I've mastered the habit of brushing my teeth, right? Like it's just, I could probably I'd wake up in my sleep. Like it's a mastery thing. Like I do with my eyes closed.
Aside from those things,
yeah.
I've mastered teaching.
Teaching, okay, teaching.
I've
How about
mastered
riding a
cooking.
bike? Georgette, you're cooking, okay? Georgette, you probably cook some delicious food.
Options.
Eating.
Yes. Eating. Mark has mastered eating. I love it. Like, what are things that we do naturally? We don't even, we can just do it with our eyes closed. Some of you, how many of you played sports? Right? And you could say, I was a fantastic catcher. Like I put so many hours into it. I mastered catching. I caught since I was in 2nd grade.
I did invite him here.
Right? I'm an artist. I'm a musician. You play the drums, you play piano, you master things. When you master things, what happens? You have to put so many hours. Does anybody know that, like, that fictitious number of hours you have to put into something in order to master it? 10,000, right?
So.
They use that example that you need 10,000 hours time on task, 10,000 hours in order to master something. And so are you putting the time into your real estate business like that? Now take it away from the real estate business. Are you putting that time into yourself? Like, Is it so much for me to go and take that hour walk for myself in the morning so that I can live in this body a little bit longer? Gary Keller says you got one body to live. If you can't take care of that, where are you going to live? So if you ask me what's your biggest priority, taking care of yourself so that you can actually go do stuff. Right? So self-mastery, committing to self-mastery is like the self-discipline that you need in order to get where you got to go. You want to master something, you read something, you Google it, you look into it, you watch YouTubes. You want to master building a house, you go work as an apprentice and you work with somebody who knows what they're doing. And you commit. And if I could just share the committing aspect, guys. I've been coaching for so many years with real estate agents, right? I have brought over, we did the math one time. I want to say it was 1,500 agents to Keller Williams over 9 years. And then I don't even know what the other 5 years was. So thousands of agents I've brought to Keller Williams through recruiting appointments. I've kind of mastered the recruiting appointment. But the truth is, I had to get up at bat, not 1,000 times. I had to get up at bat 5, 6, 7, 10,000 times to bring on the 1,000 to 2,000. So you got to put hours into when you want to master something. And I would say in this business, your mastery has to be yourself first, and then it has to be relationship building. Don't call it lead generating. Call it relationship building. That is what you're mastering. Am I in relationship with Gabe? Am I in relationship with Amisi? Am I in relationship with Yolanda? Do we have a relationship? Because can I call Gabe and say, hey, Gabe, how you doing? How's it going? What you doing this weekend? Anything fun? Oh, great. Oh, you go, hey, I'm gonna join you. Can I do that and then go confidently and network with his crew and look to gain leads? So you have to master relationships with people. And I would say protect those relationships with the people that you love, especially in this career, because there was a time where my sister was like, where's my sister? I don't want Mary Beth, the real estate agent. I want Mary Beth, my sister. Could we get her at this table? So you have to turn it off sometimes. And you have to show up and be present with your loved ones and your sphere of influence. So committing to self-mastery could be meaning a lot, but first you need to figure out who you are and where you want to go. Committing to the 80-20 principle, 20% of your actions leads to 80% of your results. It's also called the Pareto's theory. This shows true in everything and almost even more. So most of the time, it's 20 of the top 20 inside the top 20 that are really, really doing it. So let's think about this. You got a class list of your kids' class, or when your kids were little, the class list. Of that group, how many of them are really, truly excelling? Well, the top 20%, they're at a different level than the 80%. The 80% is average. The top 20%, they are excelling. Well, inside of the 20%, there's probably a 20 inside of the 20%. So you're talking about the top 4 people, right? Out of 100 people. Those are the people that are really, really, really doing it. This shows up in this classroom right here. There were 64 of you that signed up. 46 of you were in the room. Of 64 of you that signed up, times 20%, 12 of you will most likely become cappers. If you completely engage, you will be making 100% of your money next year at some point, and you will be earning your 6-figure on your way to 7-figure income. About 12 of you. And if I said, okay, well, we're in a virtual atmosphere, so let's cut that in half, it may be 6. Is it you? Will you be making 6 figures on your way to 250, on your way to $500,000? Or will it be the guy next to you in your Hollywood Square box? I don't know, but all I know is that it's not going to be all of you. It could be all of you. It could be every single last one of you. And I will put the 10 on every single one of your faces, your heads. You are the only one that could take a 10 off of your head. I look at you as a 10. I'm going to give you the faith that I have in you, that you could do this. Will you do it? So the 80-20 rule shows up everywhere. If I look at the industry guys, I could pull a roster right now of the entire Monmouth board. I could also pull a roster right now for those of you in Staten Island of Cyborg, the entire Staten Island board. And I will tell you that of the agents, there may be thousands of agents. There are only this many, top 20%, that are doing the business. And of that, there are only this many that are making a living out of it. And of that, there's only this many, and we'll keep going into that 20% that are actually thriving in it. Are you going to be that person? Because you can. But recognize the 80-20% shows up everywhere. Now, here's where it robs you. Here's where you go, oh, I got to be careful with that 80-20. I definitely want to be in that top 20. But I got to protect my top 20 throughout the day. Because in the day, if I have 10 hours, 2 of those hours are going to be the impactful move the needle hours. The other 8 are going to be kind of like non-existent. Yeah, I had to drive there. I had to go pick the kid up. I had to go over to get gas. I had to go to the bank. I had to go to this class. Great. But what moved the needle? The 2 hours that you spent on the follow-up with your clients and you going out there and meeting that seller to potentially take a listing. That's the 2 hours that mattered. Now you have a listing. What's the 2 hours of the 10-hour day that matter? Did I market it? Did I prospect around it? Did I hold an open house? Did I negotiate it? All the other stuff, doing your social media ad, going live, and I'm live here, guys. All of that could be, doesn't even matter. It's white noise if you got the other stuff done and that was all the time you had. So I encourage you as we go through this, you need to look at every day as a gift, and you need to look at every day. All of those hours are not equal. You know what hours you have to give real estate, and we got to find the special hours, and we got to make those purposeful hours. And that means staying in your top 20% of activities that yields the 80% of the results. Moving from E to P, entrepreneurial to purposeful. Now, all of this is in the first part of this MREA book. So if you don't have an MREA book, I'm going to show you where you could get it. You could also ask your team leader if they have any in the office. If you come see me, I can give you a couple. Entrepreneurial to purposeful. Entrepreneurial. I got a couple leads. I go to the open house. Oh, I got 4 leads I'm working with. I'm following up. I'm doing buyers. Oh, guess what? None of them pans out. This one went and bought it for sell by owner. This one ghosted me. This one's really not pre-approved. This one, I don't know. She talks to me every day. I don't know. Okay, what am I? Oh, now we hit the ceiling. We're going back down because my natural ceiling was I do open houses. That's how I get my leads. I do open houses. I'll go do another open house. I'll be that fly in the window. I keep hitting that. Or I could be purposeful. Well, that's not getting me what I want because the leads aren't panning out. Okay, well, now I need to break through. I need to create a different system. I have to go with a different model. Let's try calling for sale by owners. Let's try calling my sphere of influence. Take it to an agent who's doing business. I'm doing 12 deals a year. Let's take it to my first year. My first year I did 21 transactions. Inside of that 21 transactions, I had 16 buyers, 5 sellers. The next year, I'm still a solo agent. I did 28 transactions. 16 buyers closed. Now I got 12 sellers. What was the ceiling? What was the ceiling I hit? The 16 buyers. I couldn't close on more than 16 buyers. Now I was taking more leads in, but guess what? I was like, okay, A, B, C. Who's an A buyer? Who's a B buyer? Who's a C buyer? C buyers, I was dropping them like we're hot because I couldn't follow up with that many. I didn't have an assistant. I didn't have a show agent. I could only handle A and B buyers. So for me, I just went where the money was. So I did do more sales, but I didn't break through the ceiling of 16 buyers. Now, financially, I wanted to grow, what I needed to do was I followed the model and I put an assistant in place. The minute I put an assistant in place, and just for 10 hours, guys, it went from 10 hours to 20 hours, and then I brought her on full time. But 10 hours, when you're that busy and you're dropping deals, and you purposefully use that person to help you get in front of more people, she was organizing my paperwork, making sure my pendings were going through, that the minute I put a buyer deal together, I didn't have to worry about the contract to close part of it. I could go out and get another deal. And then she freed me up so much that I was able to get a showing agent. And then later on, Ashley came onto the team because I needed even more help. Because I stayed on the listing side. I kept breaking through that ceiling because I kept following the model and I kept putting somebody else in my business that would handle those things, that would free up my time to go do the next thing in our business.
So can you like just be really specific? You hire this assistant. Is she there now to like make calls for you to get appointments? Like
No,
is she
no.
doing the follow-up?
You are the agent, guys. You are the agent. That person took away all the 80%. And that is why 80-20 is so important as an agent, to define what are the 20% activities that only I can do, that only I should be doing. What are the 80% activities that somebody else can do? I can have somebody run to an inspection. I can pay them to go and put this file together. I could pay them to write the contract. But honestly, while I'm in my beginning stages, Nicole, no, I own the relationship building, because there would be no way that my business would go as deep as it did if I didn't stay at the forefront of the relationship building. And then I would bring Ashley in, I would bring Irina in. These were my buyer's agents, and introduce them to the team. I mean, to the customers, so that they understood we're all working off the same standards, and therefore they're going to get the same service. Georgette?
Maybe this is a crazy question, but the person that you hire, does that person have to have a real estate license?
No, that person does not have to have a real estate license. That person cannot do certain things if they don't have a real estate license. Like, they can't answer questions about the price of a house or what something went for or all of that, which to me was very good, because my assistant at the time would say, well, you know what, Georgette, I'll have Mary Beth call you because she can answer that. Why don't I get Mary Beth to give you a call back? I can tell you like X amount of people came through your house this weekend. There were no offers that came in. Well, what is the other person going to offer? I'll have Mary Beth give you a call. And it gave me a very pointed reason to go ahead and call back. Now, to have a licensed agent calling and stuff, and that's great. But what I've often found is somebody who has a license got a license because they would like to make the commission, not just make the hourly pay. So that's where I always had to struggle. Now, fast forward, my assistant, my first assistant, has her license now, right? Because she saw what we were making and how it was a relationship business, and she's great with relationships. So, all right, let's move along. You're welcome. Eat a P. So Eat a P, and look, I'll take it very simple. Anybody who's ever tried to lose weight, can we all agree if we shut the refrigerator after 7 o'clock, we're going to lose 10 pounds? We cut the carbs out, we're going to lose another, 10, 5 pounds. Depends on what we start at, right? We drink more water. These are all breaking through the ceiling. Like, okay, let me add water now. Look, girlfriend's got water. Hasn't drank any. Drink your water. You break through another ceiling. Now what happens? You start doing physical exercise. You're walking. Now you hit another ceiling. Now you go get what? A coach. Now you go get a physical trainer, and they hold you accountable, and you go to the next level, right? So there's all these different levels when you're trying to lose weight, that you hit that ceiling and you got to add something to break through. Okay, so the next one is being learning based. I'm preaching to the choir because this is, I know what I know and I'll ignore everything else. Being ignorant based, or actually being learning based. I know what I know, and I know there's more that I need to know. Okay, very simple. I'm neither especially clever nor especially gifted. I am only very, very curious. We often don't see all the failures behind the successes. We see the successes and we get like little FOMO, like why not me? Or I want to go faster. I want to do that. I will share with you that there have been times in my career I have tripped myself up because I have been looking at the runner next to me. So I'm like, well, but look at them on Facebook. Like, oh my gosh, look at their Instagram account. Like they're really, wow, it looks like they're really doing it. Now I am telling you that is a real emotion that goes through me. And then I go, it's Facebook, it's a picture, it's a video. I don't know what they look like really on Saturday morning when they go to the bagel store, right? Like there's all sorts of things that happen inside of our mind that we're comparing ourselves with all of these successes. And we need not to. We just need to run our race. Remove your limiting beliefs. When you unlimit your thinking, you unlimit your success. Now, those things underneath, I don't have enough time for training. I can't be successful in the market. Not me, $1 million listing. Oh, I'm not ready for that. At the end of the day, $1 million seller bought their house for $400,000 10 years ago. So who are we kidding? They don't even realize that they're a $1 million owner. The guy who shows up in the Benz, he's leasing it. Okay. So not always, but I remember when I was a young agent, Denise Santarpia said to me, he's leasing that thing. I thought they had money. And I said, what do you mean? He can't even qualify for 200,000. I was like, oh gosh, perspective. I'm seeing these fancy people walk out of this Benz coming from New York all the time. And the truth is they weren't even qualified. So this is my favorite. And if you get nothing but this here, this needs to stick with you. You need to take it home, put it in your house. You might be living with somebody that's on the left side, but we got to get them to go to the right side. Now, life shows up. This is the be accountable. Life shows up and we react. We get to stay on the left side or the right side. Let's go down the left side for a second. Doesn't seek reality, ignorant. No questions, fights reality. They say, well, that's not the way it is. That's not how I see it. They blame. If everybody would just do their job, why didn't you do something about it? Personal excuses. It's not my job. I can't stand that. It's not my job. Say it one more time and you won't have a job, right? Okay. Waits and hopes, resignation. Well, it's out of my hands. If it's meant to be, it will happen. You could stay on that side all day long. You're not going to get anything done. You go on the right side. You seek reality very quickly. If you want to go to the left side, great mentor of mine, Gene Rivers, have a pity party, have a glass of wine, go home, wake up tomorrow and get back on the right side. Like you could only have a pity party for one day. That's it. Seeks reality. What's the situation? Acknowledges reality. This is the way it is. I got it. Owns it. Like, what can I do about it? And what do I want out of it? Finds solutions. What are my options? And then gets on with it. Okay, let's get going. Let's move on. So that's what we call as being accountable. You see this victim mode. You know that, and listen, some of it might be one child out of the two that you have. One of them plays victim all the time. Mom, he's hitting me. He hit me. He did this. He did. Oh my goodness. Like, stop it. What did you do to get hit? What did you, be accountable. Stop annoying your brother. Right? So being accountable is everything. And what I love about accountability is it's a clean slate. The minute you get accountable, you can actually make a plan to have something different. You can actually make a plan. So happiness is not an individual sport. So let's talk. Any ahas on your 6 personal perspectives? Aha moments. Something hit you. If you have to put it in the chat because you're in a noisy environment, go ahead and do that too. Ahas on the 6 personal perspectives? All right. Anybody? Don't be afraid to open up.
I like the entrepreneurial approach to the purposeful approach because I think that's where I started. And this summer, I feel like was the first time I said, I have to get my systems in place so I'm not all over the place because it's not getting me anywhere. And I really focused in on doing that.
That's a great example. Not having systems, not having a way to track your leads, not having, so I would ask any of you, Kristen, Chris, What do you do when you get a buyer lead? Right? If I had to ask any of you on this call, do you know what you do?
You call them.
Okay, Joanna says
Consultation.
you call them. What do you do next?
Consultation.
Consult.
Consultation. Okay, so I want you guys to think about that and write it down, because that could be the way you do it. Or you could tell me, well, I text them first my app, and then I tell them I'm going to get on a consultation. I email them whatever, and I send them my getting to know all about me, whatever, and then we do a Zoom consultation, and then I set an appointment for first time showings, and then I take them here, and then I get them to talk to their loan officer. What is that path? I did that exercise with a top agent who closes about $40 million a year. Single agent, he works with his wife, he has a full-time assistant. And it was getting him organized, and he said to me, oh my God, Mary Beth, I don't even know. Like, I just do this naturally, but you making me document it, I said, is what? He goes, it's making me create a system. I said, yeah, okay, great. So then you could take that system, and if Mark wants to go on vacation, he can go ahead and say, hey, Ashley, I'm going on vacation. This buyer's at stage 3. Can you take it from here? And the buyer doesn't have to fill a blip, like it's a blip. So when we talk about going from entrepreneurial to purposeful, it is creating systems. It could be a 5-step system that you do, but you do it for every buyer. I put them on an auto search. I put them in my command, put them on the neighborhood nurture. I call them, I text them, I send them my blink. And then every day I'm touching them. That's what it is. But if I ask some of you where your leads are, and don't answer me, please, if this is your answer, and you go, they're in my phone. Like, they're just in my phone. I don't know. They're my friends, right? Here, at least do this. Put B dot before their name. Put S dot as a seller lead before their name. Like, if Gina's your friend and she's in the phone, but she's a buyer lead, and you're not going to create any other system, because we have plenty of systems, and Ashley's going to show you commands at some point. But if you're not going to do anything other than have a system in your phone, put B dot for all your buyer leads, and then put Gina, last name Jarecki. So when I go to B dot, if I'm like, let me call all my buyers this week, I can go to B dot and all of the B dots show up, and I got my buyer list to call. So that's like a little system you play with yourself. And you're like, I'm old school. I write stuff down on a paper. Great. Awesome. If you saw the amount of paper is to my right, you'd be like, oh, she's like 85. No, I'm not. But I love paper. I have to touch it. I have to write it. I have to make lists. A very successful operating principal of the Wayne, New Jersey office, younger than me. He's about 40 years old now. If he doesn't have his red book with his 20 people that he wrote out the night before of who he's going to call, it's like, we got to find Bill's book. Got to find Bill's book. He's freaking out. Look for a chewed pen and a red book. It's somewhere. That's his system. The dude makes $1 million a year, and so does his partner in commissions a year. So listen, if that's his system, it's working. He's got great relationships. All right, let's dive back in, because I know we're going to run a little bit late, but I don't want to go too late. So I will get you out of here. All right. Moving on. Our culture. We have Red Day. We have KW Cares. KW Kids Can. Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, which is a committee. Cultural ambassadors for every office. Red Day. We'll touch on in a second. MVVBP. You'll hear that, and nobody knows what it is. An MVVBP. And MVVBP is a mission, visions, values, beliefs, and perspective. Every business has it. Every business has a mission. Do you have a mission? We're going to work on that in the next few sessions. But a mission, what is your mission? My mission, my vision, my values. Do you know what your values are? Because in real estate, will you take a listing for X percent? Will you take an overpriced listing? Will you take a listing that the seller's not motivated? What are the values that you have? What are your beliefs? How do you think about things? Perspective. So this is the mission for Keller Williams is Joe Marcello. Will you unmute and read the mission for us, please? see.
Yeah. To build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving.
Okay, great. That is Keller Williams' mission. We just added experiences and legacies in the last couple of years. So it could change. It could absolutely change. Now, this here is our belief system. For many of you, you may hear a team leader reference it as a Y4C2Ts. Do you know what the Y4C2T is? That's the belief system. Michelle, would you mind unmuting and just reading the Y4C2Ts for us, if you don't mind?
Am I the only Michelle?
Yes, you are.
Okay, the W is win-win or no deal. Integrity, do the right thing. Customers always come first. Commitment in all things. Communication, seek first to understand. Creativity, ideas before results. Teamwork, together everyone achieves more. Trust starts with honesty. Equity, opportunities for all. Success results through people.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And if I ever call on you and you really don't want to talk, please just say, no, not me. Just keep yourself
I'm good.
muted. Thank you.
I'll unmute now.
Okay.
I'll remute.
So this here is a very easy way to get in and out of business with people. If it's not a win-win, it's no deal. If there's no integrity, I can't do the deal. Customer always coming first doesn't mean that you need to be abused. There needs to be a respectful relationship there. But we do have to say, okay, we put their needs first. The only one on here that gets a little bit iffy is that creativity. I had a guy when I was in Staten Island, and we had to get out of business with this gentleman. And I liked him. I liked him very, very much. But the truth is, all I had to do was sit here and go through this and say, did you have integrity in that deal? No. Customers did not come first. He hid a lot of things. There was no disclosures on stuff. When we got to the C of creativity, I said to him, I'm going to give you that one. I will give you C for creativity. However, it was not on the positive side. It was in the danger, evil side. So, but you can get out of business very easily just following this. And it's the same thing with customers. You guys do not have to work with every seller and buyer. You know, it does not have to be, it doesn't have to be that you just take any client on. You get to choose who you work with. So, all right, this one here is Red Day. Red Day is Renew, Energize, and Donate. It's a day that we give where you live. It's every second Thursday in May. And it is in honor of Mo Anderson, who is she was our first CEO. And you will hear me talk. Yep, heart, love Mo Anderson. And you will hear from her. I have a couple clips that I want to show you that I had interviewed her years ago. But she's called the Velvet Hammer. And at the end of the day, integrity in everything, expectations and standards. If you don't have standards, it's very hard to meet your standards or hold your standards if you don't have any. So in your business, you need to decide, what are your standards? If Michelle says, I don't answer the phone after 10 because that's my time with my family. Well, 10 o'clock, her phone goes off. That's her standard. She will tell people, and there's no problem telling a customer, listen, my hours are this time to that time at 10 o'clock. I shut the phone off. I don't work. You can catch me again at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm available for you again. Now, if they get a call from Michelle after 10, because let's say there's a guy, he works late, and they're going to be like, wow, thank you so much for like not holding your standards and crossing them for us. So knowing your standards, important. KW Cares, organization where we give back to our associates that are in need. Anytime we've had a hurricane, a tornado, just recently the fires in Hawaii. Okay, KW Cares will send out rescue. KW Cares sends out generators, water, money, grants, millions of dollars. So when you guys are asked, do you want to give a donation to KW Cares? Say yes. My suggestion, give $10 every closing. They'll take it right from the check and it will go right to international and you'll have contributed, because guess what? When Sandy hit, we had some grants given to some families in this area. We had some big grants. You don't want to be in a situation where you don't do your part. So when you need the help, it's kind of like, Now, KW Kids Can, you're going to hear more about that also. It's Quantum Leap. It's fantastic. We're going to be bringing it into some of the schools. And I know Adele also does a Saturday class for our young ones. So when we talk about our KW culture, it's been something that literally bleeds through us and has made us a little bit unique in the market. And we've had a lot of companies like copy us. Like I remember years ago, certain companies come out with their cares sector of the organization. All right, so now we go to the market center. And in the market center, we look at this and top franchise for veterans, female friendly company. We have so many accolades, so many best customer experience, America's best employers for women, employers for diversity. You can find that all on our sites. And then here is where, inside of where I just showed you, inside of Connect, inside of your command database, you'll see Connect and Connect Live, and you got tons of courses there. We also have commands, which we will dive into when we start talking about our systems. Ashley has been our flag runner for commands, knows so much about commands and what it can do. And basically every business, and I want you guys to think about this, a doctor's office, a dentist specifically, right? Dentists, I go twice a year. They call me. How many of you actually fill out your own post? I go to Dr. Davis, or was going to Dr. Davis for years. I'm in Alpin. I would fill out my own postcard with my own address and give it to him so that he could put it in the mail to tell me when my next appointment was. So here I am putting my, the next time I'm going to see you is when? Oh, March 11th. On my address. Oh, okay. And I'd give him back the postcard and he would literally just hand that to his assistant. She'd put it in the system and boom, it'd go in the mail. So that then I receive my own postcard to tell me that 6 months later, I got to go to the dentist. It's in a database, guys. It's in a database. So when people, I don't want to use command, I don't use this, I use Gmail. Great. Gmail does not have the functions that a database does. So the database allows you to communicate with your clients in a systematic way. It has all of our designs built into it. Is it perfect? No technology is perfect. But I can tell you, I've tried a lot of technologies. And you know what one works? The one that you work in. The one that you actually fill. The one that you use. That's the one that works. So Ashley, she will offer some things as well that you could take classes, and we'll have some videos that you can follow. The Commands app, there's 2 apps. If you don't have this downloaded, you need to download. This is the red with the white letters, and there's also a white with the red letters. So there are 2 Command apps. One is the consumer-facing site, white bug, red letters. The one that you want to be able to use your Command app, your command app is the red with the white. So the other one is for your consumer. And I would advise you to download both of them, get into both of them, play with both of them. Okay, this is the other one. This is the KW app, which doesn't always work as well as it could, but also has tons of features, and I use it for all of my searching. So this is what we're going to see from our office. I've asked all the offices to give me their numbers. So in the next section, we're going to show you where our market centers stand. This is what you should be measuring also. How many units did you close? How much volume did you close? How many listings did you take? How many, and you actually have a multi-year trends. I'll show you that tracks this for you. But those of you who have no business yet, it's going to say zeros, but it's still there. So we could take a look at it. And my market center value, this is also something, each office is different. Who's the operating partner? Who's your team leader? Who's the coaches? And then we have profit share and growth share. How many of you have experienced profit share? Ashley, a few of us. Okay, when you all signed on to the company, Mark. So how many of you all had to choose a sponsor? How many of you had to choose a sponsor when you joined? How many of you had to name a sponsor? Right? All of us, all the hands. Okay. So you are all in the profit share system. Growth share is also when you have people that you've influenced in the company that are outside of the United States. So I share this not to brag, but to really inspire. My husband and I bought a house in Aruba last year. I will be teaching a few sessions straight out of Aruba in October. So I will be in the Aruba Market Center, and I will be holding a business planning clinic in Aruba. One of my big goals moving forward is to build my downline in Aruba.
So
I can
what if a country, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
what if a country doesn't have a Keller Williams yet? How would we get that established?
That's a fantastic question, Nicole. There's a gentleman named Bill Hunt, and he's in charge of KW Worldwide. And there's also a girl, Lizette. She works with him. And if you have somebody in another country that would potentially be interested in a conversation about what Keller Williams might do for them, we can connect them. Yeah, let's connect them with Bill and Lizette, and let Bill and Lizette do the heavy lifting, and they always protect the relationship. So
Okay.
Portugal, I was with Portugal, I was with Aruba, I was with Curacao just recently. And I mean, it's just wonderful. So to that point is, you guys, I want to inspire you. I've been with the company almost 20 years, sure. But in my lifetime being with Keller Williams, I have brought into my family over $500,000 in profit share. Okay. I was a brand new agent that bought into it. Like, okay, this is a great place to be. I love this. I love the classes. I love the people. I just started introducing it. I was doing deals, all my deals. I'll be like, oh, you should be over here. We're making lots of money and doing lots of fun stuff. That profit share, when you pour into people and you bring somebody over, when they do well for the company, you reap the rewards. So we'll get through that. Rania, is that a question or is that just hands up about profit share? You can unmute if it's a question.
No, it's not a question. No.
Okay, perfect. So,
Oh, Mary Beth, I have a question with when you talk
Georgette?
about Aruba. When you were talking about Aruba and your connection in Aruba, how does it work? What's the conversation? Because I know we have several Keller Williams offices in Jamaica, and I'm planning to go there. So I'm wondering, like, what's the conversation? How would you
That's
get
right.
involved?
So the conversation looks just like, Georgette, would you be open to a conversation about an opportunity in real estate? That's all it is, right? That's all it is. Would you be open to a conversation about an opportunity in real estate? There's a great opportunity for you, and I wouldn't want you to miss it. If I could connect you with somebody that could talk a bit about this opportunity, right? Here's what happens. The woman who brought, and Grayson, I see your hands, I'll get you next. The woman who brought Keller Williams outside of the United States to Africa, her name is Althea Osborne. She's about 85 years old now. She was one of Gary's original agents in Austin, Texas. She went on a vacation and stayed in South Africa. She thought, oh, she's British. Well, Gary has this worldwide thing going on, you know? Oh, who should I talk to? And she asked the real estate agent who put her in a 2-month stay in Africa. She said, who should I be talking to? Who is your real estate guru here? If I was going to talk to somebody real estate, who should I talk to? And they said, oh, this guy Hans. She just called him up, this little British lady from America, and she said, hi, my name is Althea Osborne, and I have her on video saying this. My name is Althea Osborne, and I was given your name as the real estate guru here, and I have an opportunity that I don't think you'd want to miss. Keller Williams is going worldwide, and I'd love to talk to you about it. And he said, well, I'm about 2 hours away from you. Why don't we meet at a BP gas station? meet in an hour and let's talk about it. She met him for a cup of coffee in a BP gas station, and she literally brought Keller Williams to Africa. Now, Georgette, being that Jamaica is already existent in existence, there are pockets of Jamaica that are not developed. There are agents that you can bring to maybe the best Jamaica Keller Williams office. So there's still opportunity, even for myself when I go to Aruba. There's so much building, they only have 35 agents. I envision 100 agents on the island. Your average office on the island has 6 agents. So 35 is already big. So we're breaking real estate barriers across in the world, just so you all know. And I encourage you to get in on it, on it. And if you have those worldwide connections, let's get on a call. So, all right. Now, our KW resources, this is real fast. We do have Keller Mortgage, Keller Manage, Keller Covered, Keller Offers. What I would, I'm sorry, Grayson, you had your hand up. Please go ahead and share.
Yes, just a quick question, just to piggyback off of Georgette. So
Yes.
I like to call myself a Jamaican. I wasn't born in Jamaica, but I'm married to a Jamaican and my mother's Jamaican from Kingston. And my husband and I are in the process right now of purchasing property in Jamaica. So I do know that they have a Keller Williams in Jamaica in Montego Bay. But my question is, do I have to go through like another course or exam in Jamaica to sell real estate there as well?
Every island is different. So in Aruba, there's no licensing. You would have to ask the Jamaica office, is there licensing there?
Okay.
How do you go about it? In Aruba, things that I have had a hand on, because I do have some customers looking, I basically get paid through a referral to my Jersey office.
Okay.
Now, Jamaica may be like, no, we don't have any licensing, and as long as you have a house here, you could be one of our agents. You could literally be on the Jamaica website next month. Who knows? So
Right.
I
I'll ask.
would ask that. And my vision for my husband and I, because my husband's not licensed, we will sell on Aruba together as a husband and wife Americans who bought on the island.
I love the vision.
Yeah.
Very
So
motivating.
girl, it just happened last year. I was in a woman empowering conference, and I said to everybody, I did an exercise, and like we're getting a little more talkative, but we're a little slow, right? So in the beginning, nobody would talk, and I said, all right, we need to do the someday exercise. Nobody would do it, so I said, all right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna live in Aruba one day, and they all laughed.
I love
And
it.
I was like, all right, great. I'm gonna go find this house right now. And I'm telling you, that was April. By May 26th, we already found the house. We closed on it September 9th last year.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
yeah. And when you're working with KW Family worldwide, it's a little easing, because you're like, okay, I trust this. Because believe me, they did not just get a franchise. They did not just get a franchise. They went through the ringer to get a franchise, and let alone a master franchise, a region. Yeah, my little sponsor was just over Ashley's head. I just saw her face. It was like it was kind of creepy, Gina. You should not do
The
that
whole
again.
time you were talking about profit share, she's talking to you, and I was like, Ma, you're muted.
Oh, yeah. She can't. No. Okay. However, our KW communities, this is something that I'm going to encourage you. If you are military, or if you were a military kid, or you're married to military, KW Military is where it's at. KW Military, KW Luxury. You want to bite into the luxury market. There's an earned in luxury program we have. New homes, sports and entertainment. If you've sold to a star, and we have this all the time. An athlete, a star. We're in New Jersey. You have all our sports teams. I mean, we sold a house to what's his name? 50 Cent. 50 Cent bought a house up in like Englewood Cliffs, off market, but we sold it to him. So those kinds of things get you qualified to work in sports and entertainment. And young professionals, Ashley, you're part of young professionals, right?
Yeah, I wish that I would have got into young professionals way sooner than I did, but there wasn't a local chapter, so I didn't think that there was a benefit to paying the $39 a month. But in the 2 years that I've been a part of it, I've learned more from the other under 40 professionals that I have met and networked with than anything I've learned anywhere else in Keller Williams.
Now, I love that. And because this is what happens. The communities speak the same language. Sometimes it's literally, and sometimes it's just generationally, right? So I just want to clarify, you don't have to be under 40 years old. You have to think like under 40 years old. So those of you who are age-wise over 40, you're allowed to be in it, okay? Just saying. And the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee has an amazing podcast, The Color of Money, it's called. I encourage you, the leaders that are speaking on that podcast are stellar individuals. The Color of Money podcast with Julia Lachey. She's amazing. Okay. In our local market centers, and we're going to have those guests come on, we have Movement Mortgage, and they are great partners of mine, as well as Goldfinch Title and Carnegie Insurance. So those three you will hear from. They're going to be coming on these classes, so you get to know them. Okay. I'm just going to wrap it up with you guys. If you don't mind, I'm going to go 10 more minutes, kind of show you this piece, and then we'll close out. I appreciate you guys. So your vision, your future. Today is September 11th, 2024. Your business is thriving. Your life is everything you dreamed of. Your customers rave about the experience and the value that you provide and think of you when they have a real estate need. Your family and friends are so proud of your success. They're constantly referring business your way. You help others live their dream of owning a home because you are focused on helping them get what they desire. You are building the foundation and the momentum of your entire career in gaining relationships and experiences and the income that you desire and deserve. You are the top agent in your market center. You're the rookie of the year if you're new. You're poised to hire a part-time assistant to handle your 80% while you take care of the 20%. Sound familiar? You're on the path to having a team, taking luxury listings, being a listing agent. What does that look like for you? What does that circle mean? What are those spokes? This is where I want you to share a bit. Some of you put it in there, 151. Big life, big life. Break that ceiling 3, 5, 10 years out, 5 years out, because you could be anybody you want to be in 5 years. In 5 years, let's share some crazy, buku crazy ideas. Live. Come on. Share some crazy ideas. In 5 years, I see myself doing this.
Owning internationally.
You're going to be selling internationally? Go ahead.
Yes.
In 5 years, I see myself owning my own restaurant and having some investment properties.
Okay. Well, it sounds like Georgette really loves to cook. So she's going to own her restaurant and she's going to own investment properties. I bet she's going to own the restaurant with the apartments upstairs so that her workers could have a place to stay and not have long commute. Right? Good idea. I also see you maybe selling a little bit in Jamaica. So what else?
I think you open up my mind to this worldwide real estate agent in other countries and also building more agents out there. I think that's just such a big idea that I never thought of doing.
So Nicole is a very bold and beautiful person, and she will go out there and take risks. So this summer, because she's a teacher, this summer she threw a couple classes out there for you guys to plug into, which was a summer series. What I would say, Nicole, is the path to that worldwide is similar to mine. I can go teach in Portugal. I can go teach in Aruba. You can take some of the courses that we have right built into Connect, especially if we speak other languages. And you could take the teaching. They love it. They're looking for instructors that already know the KW material to come out and Kellerize their offices. So you start diving into that material, and that's where you can find an in, and then you're influential in those markets, and you can recruit. Where you can teach, you can recruit.
I love that.
Give me one more big life where it's on your spoke, something you're gonna accomplish. 5 years.
Hey Beth, in 5 years, I want to change careers. I am now today in human resources, and I want to go into real estate full time and be
You
successful
will.
and be my own boss.
Okay. I want you to change that. I want the words around that. I intend
will.
on. I
Okay,
will. I
I
intend
will.
on having. I'm working towards. It's not that I want or desire to. And yes, that's where we start, right? But I want us to even be careful with how we speak to ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Fantastic. Darren, what would you say to that? Darren Asatuli. Nope, you're muted for some reason. It's not coming through. Probably your microphone. Now we got you. Go ahead. This is Coach Darren.
Hey Beth, I got
It's breaking up. It's like every other word.
hear me now?
No.
Yeah.
All right. Mute yourself, figure it out, and come back with a nugget. Okay? Because I know, yeah, he's got great nuggets. Here's what I'll share with you. Personally, I know this is my halftime. I put 19 years in this business. To think at 45, I'm retiring in a couple of years, or no, I'm not going to retire. But do you think my first half is going to look different than my second half? Yeah, it's going to look a lot different. Okay. I'm putting it out there right now that in 10 years, I am in 10 years, because I got some things I got to do. I got to have some babies. I got to go to Aruba. I got to figure all that out. But in 10 years, you'll know me as a developer investor. I develop. I would like to develop properties. I want to get the ultimate is to build and develop properties, see properties for what they can become, and actually make them something tangible that somebody can actually appreciate, and they could build their own equity and then sell them off. But I want to be a developer. And to me, that seems scary. That seems like, how the hell would I be a developer? But I know it's possible because I've seen people do it in 3 years, start developing properties in Jersey City, Hoboken, go vertically up. So I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to be a developer. And my biggest thing is I have land. My husband and I bought some land in Africa because I went to Africa in 2013 and I fell in love with this charity. I fell in love with this grassroots, organization that helps basically foster children that are left because women have to go get jobs at other countries and they leave their children with their grandmas or their titis or whatever. And so my husband and I bought a couple acres in Africa so that they could farm it and they could have money to pay the workers and food for the village. My mission is to make it where I am visiting them twice a year, and we have built a full volunteer organization structure where, listen, Darren, you want to send your girls to have a real like Africa village experience, we could send them. There's bunking, there's food, everything. It's all inclusive. And so that is my big vision, is to have a volunteer center built in the Majengo village of Moshi in Tanzania. And then my other one is to really be a worldwide trainer and take Quantum Leap, on the road and be worldwide. So I'm putting it out there because that's who I am. That's who I am becoming. And I intend on that. And I'm going to ask you to hold me accountable to it. I also have my art studio on my farm, so we'll get there too. All right. So you have to dream big. You have to expand your mind. If you haven't done that exercise, we're going to tap more into your big life. But paying off debt, paying off student loans. So it says to achieve success, you need motivation and inspiration for doing it. Your big why. And, moms, dads, it changes when kids grow up and grow out. When we are the kid and, mom and dad, it changes. When you're an empty nester, it changes. When you're young and you don't have it, you're single, it's different. So it's okay that it continues to evolve, but just understand what you are doing it all for. because it has to be bigger than you, because I promise you, you will get annoyed with this business. You will get annoyed with the no's. You will get frustrated with the rejection. You will get aggravated with the people who don't want to listen to you. So you will have to continue to push through. So you need that big why. Where do your commission dollars go? Here's the deal. When you look at the commission, your commission, part of it's going to go to your broker for your split. Part of it is going to go to your business expenses, your marketing. But your biggest chunk out of it is going to be your taxes. And then you have your take home. So I want you as agents, when you get that money and you get that check that comes in, I want you to have a habit of taking 30% of it and putting it in a separate bank account. I want you to go to the bank and I want you to open up multiple accounts so that you can easily separate that tax money out of your transaction and just move it over in your mobile app to the other account that you have labeled tax account, so that it could, even if it's $5,000 that's there because you didn't make much this year, but you had a check that came in and it was $20,000. So guess what? 20 times 30% is $6,000. Well, do you want to get hit with that in April? You're like, yeah, but Maribeth, I have all these write-offs. Yeah, that's great. Please, taxes first, pay yourself, hold your money accountable. We're going to talk more about that also. But here it goes. Your money's just going away. And that's why we need you to be mindful, because your take home is not what that check is. That is called GCI, gross commission income. Okay. So here's your example of $100,000. $100,000. If you want to play with $100,000, I want to spend $100,000. You're going to need to tack on, well, I spent $30,000 with my cap and my royalty cap. In New Jersey, you're not going to need to spend $50,000 to make $100,000. Why? Because $100,000 is 10 transactions. The expenses that you will need to make $100,000 might look like $6,000, $500 a month. Then you have your business expenses like your MLS, your board. All of that's going to cost you probably $2,000 a year. So if you take the 6 and you take the 2, we're only talking about $10,000 in business expenses. Okay. So for you guys, $100,000 looks like plus 30 plus 10 is really only $140,000. And your average commission is about $10,000. We're talking about 14 transactions, guys. 12 to 16 transactions should get you about $100,000 in your pocket. 12 to 16 transactions with an average price point of $400,000 should get you $100,000 in your pocket. 12 to 16 transactions don't just show up. You need 40 leads or so. We'll go deeper into that, right? But you need, call it 5 times the amount of leads to work those good leads to get them to be appointments to closing, to convert to close. And we're going to talk a lot about that. So we're not going to go there. So there is an income goal this year. You can work it yourself. You know, maybe some of you put 250. Well, 250, you're going to still cap at 30,000. What are the business expenses at 250? Well, you're probably going to spend $25,000 to $30,000 to make 250. And that's only like spending $2,000 to $3,000 a month on an admin, on some marketing. Goes really fast when you start spending it. And so if you looked at that, how many transactions does that person need to do? It may look like 35 or 40 to take home their 250. Okay. Okay. So let's just talk about your daily success system, and then we'll wrap it up with ahas. Here's what's asked of you. All of that is just the foundation of what we're going to dive into. This is the hard work. This is the work you put in. Having 10 conversations a day. Now, working days. Some of you are like, well, these are the hours I have. If you want to send me what you think your schedule looks like, we're going to go over scheduling also. I'd love to see what your schedule looks like. I'll show you where you could find some time. Just like you show me your bank account, I'll show you what's important to you. Show me your calendar, I'll show you what's important to you. If you tell me I really, really want to do this, okay, well, I'll tell you when your conversations need to be had. If you're a full-time employee, you need to use your car time wisely. You're driving to school, Nicole. How many calls can you make going over that bridge, right? How many calls can we make? How many contacts? 2, 3, 1 good one? I'll take it. Lunchtime comes. Are you committed to sitting with people at lunch, talking to them about your other career? Some people would say, I can't do that. It's not allowed. Okay, no problem. Are you connecting with people, period? So the minute that you quit your full-time job and you say, I'm going full-time real estate, they're like, oh my God, girl, I'm so proud of you. I'm giving you all my real estate business. Or they're like, my dude, when were you? I was waiting to see when you were going to do that. You're so talented. You should have done it a long time ago. But are you connecting with people at lunch, on the way home, when you go to the store, when you drop the kids off and you're sitting there waiting for dance class to be over? These are all major opportunities for you to be connecting with people and lead generating, to make those 10 contacts. So 10 conversations. What's the other thing? 10 conversations, 10 contacts added to your database. Now, that means you go, and this is where I will tell you, go on your Facebook, go on your Instagram. Who do you have there that is not in your database? Probably a lot of people. DM them and ask them, hey, what's your email? What's your cell number? Where do you live? I mean, do it your style, your way. Handwritten notes to follow up on the connects. Well, you talk to 10 people, write 10 handwritten notes, put it in the mailbox. Everybody loves a little note card. Go get some scratch offs. Throw that in there. Take a chance on me. Take a chance on yourself. Put a Starbucks card in there for your favorites. Hey, I was thinking of you. Go get a cup of coffee on me. Okay. And the 10-5-1 social media engagement is 10 likes, 5 comments, and 1 DM. Right, Ashley? 10 likes that you're purposefully going on people's page and not other real estate agents. Because now, okay, I don't mean to say that. Not other real estate agents in your own market, that they're not going to give you a referral. But real estate agents in other markets that might give you a referral that makes sense. Brooklyn, Queens, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida. Those are markets that we go in and out of. Okay.
I mean, if you guys want to grow your downline, you can comment on their stuff.
Yeah. So, okay. This is your daily success system. This is what you should be doing daily when you are lead generating. We'll talk more about that on Wednesday. Okay. Powerful conversations get results. Lead generate, uncover motivations, identify objections, close deals. Okay. And your sphere definition is people that you have met in one shape, form, or another. It doesn't mean that you are best friends with them. It could be that you went to a birthday party and you met this girl, Susie, and you got her information, and that's it. She's a Met. She's in your sphere. She might not be the closest ring, but she's in the sphere. Okay. And when we talk about your sphere, they're moving every 7 to 10 years, just like everybody else is. So if you stay in relationship with somebody for 10 years, the chances are you're going to have them work with you. So this is a long-term game, but along the way, they should be able to refer you as many referrals as possible because you're asking for the business. This is a very easy way to connect with a sphere is Ford. Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Hey, how are the kids? Hey, how's work? How's your commute to work? I see you changed your jobs. Oh, you guys like hiking? I know a great place up in whatever mountain. Or dreams. We just dreamed a little bit together. Sharing dreams. Hey, one day I'd love to own an Airbnb boutique hotel on Aruba. Yeah, I would. What's the other one I'm gonna do? Boutique hotel. Okay, so ahas to achievement. I'm gonna stop here. And I'm gonna ask you guys for 3 ahas, and then we will get out of here today. Thank you for staying a little extra. Kind of had to get to know you a little bit, warm up. But what are 3 ahas that I can have the group share? Ahas, agents having, what is it? Agents having agent aha moments.
I love the lottery ticket idea.
Okay.
Take a chance on me. I think I could use that in so many ways. So I mean, I've said so much, but that's the last thing that you said that really just I was like, oh my God, that's great.
Yeah, there you go. Tell me how many you send out, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, hold you accountable. What else? Give me some more. I want to hear from some people. I see smiley faces. I see people that have been engaged, taking notes. Share 'em. And Juliana, I see you unmuted.
Yes. I knew we had an office, a Keller Williams office in Brazil. And we do have a construction business going on right now, me and my husband, south of Brazil. And now that you talk about having like expand and go overseas, that's maybe not maybe it will be something that I'll work on for the
Absolutely.
next couple of years.
Shoot me an email so that I can get you the right people, and you could just even start the conversations to know what the process would be like, so that when you do go out there to visit, you're armed with some language.
Yes, because my partner there, he is a realtor, but he's not involved with Keller Williams at all. And maybe that is something that we can work on.
Well, let's think about this. If you have a new construction product or construction, Keller Williams offices typically grow very large, and that gives him the biggest audience to get in front of, to partner with, right? So that's often the benefit that we see with developers and builders on the islands and in the different countries, is that you want this national network. We are the largest company in the world. So, and we're only in 55 countries. So there are a lot more countries. If you ask me, the biggest opportunity is outside of the United States. So in the profit share and the growth share and all that. Okay.
Right.
One more aha, at least. If I got a burning, yes, thank you, Daniel.
Yeah, so fear is false evidence appearing real, and the only thing stopping me is me. So the fear of success, there's also fear of success, and I'm just gonna go through all that and just go all in 100%.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. Because like, what would happen if you actually succeeded doing it?
Only good thing.
Right. How would that make you feel? What could you do for others? You start dreaming about, like, man, the taste of success looks like I'm able to take care of my elderly mom. I'm able to give to my old village that I used to live in, and I can actually make an impact. I mean, I have seen some amazing people. I have a friend from Kenya. Her name is Ogla Gahatma. She is Keller Williams' operating partner now. She owns the Kissimmee office down by Orlando. She worked in hospitality, and she got her real estate license. She worked in Target. She had so much passion to help people. Her operating partner said, I don't want this real estate office anymore. Do you want to buy it from me? She figured out how to buy it. She now has a school for girls in Africa. The money that she's made here, the success that she's had here in America, has given her the leverage to build a girls' school in Kenya. And now they're drilling water wells. And she's going back to Kenya. She did Quantum Leap for 270 schoolboys in Kenya. So she's making a huge, huge, huge impact by just getting out of these limiting beliefs and just going and doing it. There's so much out there for us. It's like, what could happen if we actually showed up as our best self? So much. All right. Anybody else have one more burning desire, aha, that you just really want to share?
It's 8 o'clock.
Sorry, my computer.
Thank you. Okay, so it's time to go. Thank you so much. I will send you guys an email. Yes, Mark.
As far as the Insight in-person Aruba class, do we have to pre-register to make sure you have enough room? Or are we gonna be able to deduct and we're gonna be able to deduct the airfare?
The flights are only $350 right now for that week. And I have a great little place you could stay called Serene by the Sea for $160 a night. So feel free to jump on that plane. It's October 10th. And yeah, I'm gonna impact Aruba. I can't wait. So thank you guys for letting me share. Thank you for staying on late. I appreciate you. I promise we will be on time for future sessions. First one's a little wonky, just trying to get all of this stuff out and getting to know who you are, letting you get to know who I am. Hopefully I was impactful, and I think you should know that I am genuine about this. I want to see all of you succeed. And please, if you've gotten anything from this, maybe you didn't want to share openly, you're not ready yet, and you want to share it with me, feel free to go ahead and text me or email me. If you're looking for a quick response, texting is absolutely the better way to go. So you'll find that in the email as well.
Yeah, your email and phone number, we can go to the.
It's in the email that I sent you, but it's molive@kw.com. I just put that in the chat. And my cell phone number is it's a 908 number, 908-675-5168. And I just put that in the chat as well.
Thank you.
Okay, really. Save me, text me. I am your partner in this. I want to see you succeed. I want to know what your personal goals are. Okay. Thank you so much for this evening, and I will see you back here on Wednesday at 6 sharp. I'll open up the window around 5:50 if you want to be on, so that we could chit chat. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ashley, for hosting.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.